What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I've got one from Lionsgate, and it is called Shot Caller. So this has got the guy from, it's got Jamie Lannister in it, and it's also got John Bernthal from The Walking Dead and The Punisher. It's the story of a guy who is kind of a well-to-do investment banker. You know, he's got it all, and he goes out for dinner one night with some friends, and his friend is trying to show him something on his cell phone in the back seat, so the guy leans back to take a look at it, and then ends up getting into a really bad car accident in that moment of distraction, and his friend dies. You know, everybody, a bunch of people in the car are really hurt really badly, and basically what happens is because he had been drinking, even though he clearly wasn't drunk, the fact that he was over the legal limit led to him being kind of made an example of, and he ended up getting put into prison. Once he got into prison, in order to survive, he ended up having to link up with the white supremacist gang in prison. And, you know, in order to get their protection, he had to do some things for them, which led to him getting even more time onto his sentence. And the movie kind of flashes back and forth between the time of his release and what he does after he's released and what he does in prison that turns him into the person that, you know, he is then. The movie is very preachy in some ways because it's kind of like, oh, you know, prison made this good man into a monster, and so that's kind of lame. But you know, it's a pretty solid movie. I like prison movies, and so I definitely you know, have a soft spot for movies like this. It's got John Bernthal, it's got Jeffrey Donovan, it's got a bunch of you know, recognizable people in it. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty brisk, aside from the preaching. What I also liked about it is that it was pretty much relentlessly dark. This is not one of those like tales of redemption, or, you know, a guy that gets put through all this hell and he comes out the other side a better man. The movie never even hints that that will happen, so I don't think it's a spoiler to say that that's not the kind of movie this is. It doesn't have a lot of sleaze in it. It's got one kind of nude scene toward the beginning, and that's it. It's very brief. It does have a lot of violence, but it doesn't have a lot of graphic bloodshed. It's got a lot of shooting. It's got some fights. It's got some awesome prison shanking, some like furious prison shanking. I love prison shanking, so I'm glad it was in here, even though it's not super bloody. The movie is deadly serious. It has hardly any even brief moments of comic relief or, you know, to break the tension. It is straightforward, unrelenting, dark, serious drama. The performances are really good. I didn't have any issues with the performances. If anything, it showed that, like, you know, John Bernthal and Jamie Lannister deserve better than the cheesy soap opera, you know, characters they're given on The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. So from that aspect alone, like, the movie's just, if you like them in those shows, you'll certainly like them here because they're able to actually perform and be given halfway decent material. But if you don't like overly violent movies, or you don't like overly preachy movies, you might not like this one because it is definitely violent and it is definitely preachy. But I thought it was a really solid movie. About half the movie takes place in prison, half is out of prison. So even if you hate prison movies, you know, it's only about half the time here. I like Shot Caller. I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the leads, if you're a fan of prison movies, or just kind of really dark dramas. The Blu-ray from Lionsgate looks fantastic. It's a new movie, so of course it's, you know, it's gonna look good. I mean, it's pretty much pristine. It's as good as you could ask for it to look. It's got an audio commentary track and a behind-the-scenes featurette. It's a pretty cheap disc. It's not as expensive as you know, a lot of the newer releases. So if you're interested in the movie, I would definitely check it out. And the Blu-ray is the way to see it, whether you rent it or you buy it. Again, I would recommend it to pretty much anybody who likes prison movies, dark dramas, or the leads, Jamie Lannister or John Bernthal. And I know I'm using his name, and it's just because that's what I always think of when I think of the guy. So anyway, I like Shot Caller. You know, give it a look if you're interested. I did a full write-up of it at markfusion.com if you're interested to read that. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon at markfusion. If you want exclusive content, you can check out my Patreon. But the best way you can help me out is just to hit that sub button. It keeps me from going out and getting drunk with my rich friends, and then, you know, I end up trying to catch a Pokemon in the car, and I end up crashing my car. This way, if I keep getting subs, I can just erase my social life, and I can just continue to watch movies and push out this content, so I would greatly appreciate that. If you like the videos, drop a sub. If not, that's fine too. I appreciate you watching them either way, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.